Welcome back to Whiskey. I'm Josh.
And I'm Eric.
And Joyce pours a whiskey. You know what it is. We don't. Let's go ahead and see what we think of it. Keith is not with us today. He had a flat tire, and this is our backup date because I was sick before. So the next several episodes, you'll just be seeing Eric and I. That's not what we got here. Fruity is my first thought. Just right off the bat, fruity.
Fruity paint thinner.
Paint thinner? No, just oily for me. Like fruity and oily.
There's definitely a fruity note there, but it's a lot of like, I don't know, just a harsh.
I think it smells delicious, so let's go in for a taste.
Where's your whiskey sitting these days? These bags.
In that closet.
Is that closet colder then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not heated.
Because that was the first thing I noticed was this is a chilly whiskey.
Yep.
I kind of like it.
The palate, I think, is oily too.
The palate's definitely oily. I think the palate's a lot more enjoyable than the nose was.
I feel like
I get more like earthy than fruity on the palate.
I think the nose and the palate are the same.
Yeah, see, I think the nose is harsher. The palate's like a fruity dirt.
But in a good way?
In a good way, absolutely, yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah. Far more enjoyable than the nose.
The finish definitely loses a little bit of like a oak spice at the end.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think it's fairly simple. It's silky for me. It's fruity, silky.
I like the amount of oiliness on this whiskey.
I'm gonna add some drops of water to this. Oh yeah, you can definitely see the oil reactions on the top there. If I had to choose a fruit, I'd say it's apple.
See, I was thinking apple or pear. So yeah, definitely. Ooh, that's way fruitier now. Oh, well, I'm getting like a sour apple.
I think you brought out a little more of a bitterness at the end. I think a lot of the oils just kind of like came to the forefront more. Pretty much the same otherwise.
I think I like it better with the few drops of water.
I think it definitely has the oil to hold up to it doing that.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna move on to ratings. We're gonna talk about the nose, palate, and finish on a scale of 0 to 5.
It's better with water, so my ratings will reflect with water. I'm giving it a 2.5 on the nose. That fruity note was definitely more present with the water. It didn't have that harsh whatever. I said paint thinner. It's not quite right, but that harsh note on the nose that it had without the water. I'm giving it a 3.5 on the palate. I think that the notes from the nose followed through, but better. And then on the finish, I'm giving it a 3. It was a good, solid finish. I didn't think anything too special of it, but it also wasn't bad.
I'm giving it 4s across the board. I thought this was delicious. I thought it smelled exactly the way it tasted. The finish was appropriate, I feel like, to the whiskey, which I know usually is Keith's thing to talk about, like the length of the finish, but I feel like the finish ended when I expected it to and had the right flavors that I would expect from it. We're gonna move on to our guesses then. We're gonna go ahead and talk about what kind of whiskey we think this is, what we think the proof is, what we think the retail price is, and how much we'd be willing to pay for a bottle of this whiskey.
I have literally no idea what I'm drinking right now.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like it's so obvious. Well, to an extent. I think it's obvious to an extent.
This is an 80 proof Scotch. I think it retails around 28. I'd pay 25.
I'm gonna go an 86 proof single malt 30-30. So those are our guesses. Joyce, what did we drink today?
Today you drank the Glengarry Highland Single Malt Scotch Whisky. Glengarry Highland Single Malt Scotch Whisky is distilled at the Loch Lomond Distillery in Kinross, Scotland. It is named after the traditional Glengarry bonnet worn as part of the Scottish military or civilian Highland dress. It is made from 100% malted barley, is distilled in a traditional pot still, and aged for a minimum of 3 years, and is bottled at 80 proof. We paid the average retail price of $30 for our bottle. As always, your prices may vary.
I was right on the proof. I was right on being Scotch.
Thanks, Joyce. Obviously, I was a little high in the proof, but $30. I think we're talking about budget single malt.
Yeah.
Like,
for a budget single malt, 30 is not unreasonable. Part of it is that Scotch is not generally my preferred type of whiskey these days.
Yeah, not the preferred category.
Yeah. I prefer an Irish or something that can pass as an Irish.
This is the first whiskey for me today, and I think the oiliness just came off very pleasant for me. Whereas, if maybe I'd started something else, maybe this would taste a little thinner.
I didn't love it. I didn't hate it.
I think it's appropriately priced, though. $30 seems right to me.
$30 for a single malt Scotch, yeah,
Yeah, rarely do we see single malt scotches cheaper than that. All right, well, that's what we think of this whiskey. Let us know down in the comments what you think. And until next time, may the winds of fortune sail you.
May it always be the other guy who says, this drink's on me.